Hello children. Now here I will discuss your fifth chapter, that is data handling. Children, in your day-to-day life you come across with so many information. What type of information? Suppose I will give you some examples. Here I am giving height of competitors in athlete. One more example if I will give you, that postman having a different types of letters. So that is also because that information belongs to him. Suppose what about our information? Suppose related with you, if I'll give you an example, that marks of mathematics in unit test. One more example if I'll give you, that prices of cars of different brands. So these are so many informations we are getting. Now this all information sometime we are getting from newspaper, from television, or sometimes what happen, for our particular use, for the specific purpose, we are collecting those information. Those information is known as data. Now, while we are collecting those information, so that informations always in an unorganized manner. So that unorganized manner information is known as unorganized data or raw data. Now, again in your mind there will be a question, what is a raw data? Initially, suppose there is, if a of your level example, if I'll give you, that the mathematics marks in unit test. So that time, suppose roll number 5 scored 25 marks, next student got 28 marks, then one more student got 5 marks. It may possible one student got highest, that is 50 out of 50. So this information what we are getting, that is in an unorganized manner. Like a first roll number getting 10 mark, second roll number may be getting 49 mark out of 50, third roll number may be getting 23, next getting 48, after that one more getting, that is 37, 31, 50, it may be 2, it may be 35. So suppose in a classroom there are 30 students. So 30 numbers you will get, because 30 students are there, so 30 students marks you will get. So now you may observe that from this data you cannot predict anything. So data basically we are collecting for the specific use. For that we have to arrange in a particular manner. So how to arrange in a particular manner? So for that what we are doing, either in 7th standard, to find out the median, what we were doing, arranging data in term of ascending order or descending order. Suppose I want to find out lowest mark. So what I will do, I will arrange them either in ascending order or descending order. And from that easily I can say, okay, this student got this lowest mark. Lowest mark in a class is suppose 10. Here 2. Highest mark in a class is 50. So like that we can get some information. After that, next is graphical representation. Now this data is what we are getting for our purpose, for our specific use. These data we can represent as graph also. In 7th standard in data handling you have studied mean, mode, median and range. So in that graph is not there. That time mean how we were calculating? To find out average. Suppose I want to find out average mark of a class. So what I will do? I will add up this all and divide it by the total number of observations. Observation means each person's mark. So for a specific use. Now similarly, in place of calculating mean, mode, median, these data I can represent graphically also. Why we are representing graphically? Because in place of calculating, in place of counting, in place of thinking a lot, from a graph, on a graph paper, on a single piece of a paper, I can collect the whole information, all information of whole class. Suppose 30 students. So 30 students data I can collect on one piece of paper. Suppose I want to collect mathematics marks of the whole Balbharti school. So that time in our Balbharti, suppose 400 students are there. So 400 students maths data I can collect on my one piece of paper. So this can be feasible. This information can feasibly we can know. How? By graphical representation. In a graphical representation, first of all, you have studied in your earlier classes, I guess in 4th or 5th standard, you have studied pictograph. Now what is a pictograph? For a particular student, suppose here some numbers of here. Now suppose here one example I will give you, that you are going to bazaar and you are purchasing some fruits like mangoes, no, like that picture, then apples, then orange, so many fruits you can purchase. So for each fruit I am choosing five numbers. So to represent 5 numbers I will choose a specific symbol, and those after that this information I am representing on my graph. So that information is known as a pictograph. After that you have studied a bar graph. Now what is a bar graph? This also you have studied in 6th standard, but again I am revising it. To draw a bar graph, on a graph paper you are drawing x-axis, here y-axis. Now after that what you are doing, information collected you have regarding, suppose 5 friends are there. So 5 friends maths marks. So this one is Ram, this is Rahim, Radha, like that. Suppose 5 friends are there. So here marks I am choosing as 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So out of 25, how many marks they are getting? Suppose Ram getting 10 marks. So like that I will represent. Rahim getting 15 marks. So like that. So each student's information we can represent by a specific rectangle. While we are drawing a bar graph, that time a bar graph representation of a particular things, particular object, of a specific group of a people about only one thing. Understood? So this information is known as, representation of this information is known as bar graph. How to draw a bar graph? To draw a bar graph, I have to take a specific distance, and there is a fixed distance between each bars, and this representation is known as a bar graph. After that you have a double bar graph. How we were drawing a double bar graph? So to draw a double bar graph, what we were doing, this is your x-axis, now this is your y-axis. Now while in place of about only, in place of representing, suppose that same example if I take, that is of Ram, Rahim and Radha. So of these 3 students, if I want to take that same example, so what I will do, I took that time marks of mathematics only. Suppose I want to compare their marks of mathematics and science both. So that time what I will do, here out of 25 marks I am taking. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now here Ram, Rahim, Radha. Now here what I am doing, here first unit I used to leave. In maths, suppose Ram getting 10 marks. So 1 bar, and in science suppose he is getting 14 marks. So second continuous bars. Now Rahim. So Rahim getting, suppose in maths 20 marks, and in science he is getting 18 marks. Now suppose Radha. So Radha in maths she is getting 25, and in science maybe she is getting 15 only. So such information. Now you can observe, while we have to compare some information, so that time we are using double bar graph. While we have to represent an information about 2 specific things, or we have to compare. So for that, because comparison as a teacher, if I will take a maths and science marks, so that time I want to do comparison. In place of this, suppose you want to represent it in a particular of a specific reason. So that information is known as a double bar graph. All the time it is not necessary that we are comparing only. By a double bar graph also we can easily come to know that, okay, this many students are good in mathematics, this many students are not good in science, these students are good in maths and science both. So many informations we can interpret from the graph. That is up to you, that what is our purpose behind it. But graphical representation is a very much convenient way which help us to get the information in a specific proper manner, in a easiest, simplest manner. Now, next is organizing data. Now, while I gave you an example of a data, like suppose marks of mathematics, that same example if I take, because you people are studying mathematics and this example is very much easy example to understand. So marks of mathematics, and in a classroom you are having 30 students. So that time one student getting 20 out of 50, total out of 50 total, or I can write maximum marks are 50. So out of 50, roll number 1 is getting 20, next is getting 25, after that one is getting full 50, maybe next is getting 10, after that one more is getting 45, then next is getting maybe 23. So that is up to, goes on till 30. Now here you can observe, here data is not in ascending order, even not in a descending order, even not in a specific particular interval. So that time what data we are getting, these data are known as unorganized data, or we can say raw data, or we can, one more word is there, primary data. Primary data means just I have collected information on one piece of paper or on a computer, wherever you want to collect. So that such information I am having, this information is known as a raw data. After that, organizing data. Now, to take a particular use, to get a particular information based on this data, what I have to do? I have to organize my data. How I am organizing my data? So for that, easiest way is arrange the data in a tabular manner. Suppose 100 numbers are there. So that time arranging all 100 numbers will be little bit tedious job, very much hectic job. So that time, all the time we cannot arrange them in terms of ascending and descending order. In place of that, one more way is also there, that is a tabular manner. So we can represent this information in a tabular manner also. So this information, after that, what I am getting in a tabular manner, that information is known as a organized data. After that, frequency. Suppose if I take the same example. So here I want to make a table. Here in a table, this table is about what? Marks in mathematics. So this is, here I am writing marks. You may write down marks of mathematics also. Next column is of telemarks. And last one is of frequency. Now, how to represent? Suppose I will take a marks. Now how? So 1 to 50 are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up to I will write down 50 numbers. Now suppose not a single student getting 1 mark, so that time dash 0. Because not a single student is getting 1 mark. How many students are getting 10 marks? So here I am not having. Suppose 2 students are getting 2 marks. So how I will represent? By 2 tallies. And here I will write down 2. So now frequency means the what? An observation, an entry of a particular observations occurring for a number of times. So that occurrence of that entry is known as frequency. Entry of that data is known as a frequency. Suppose 25 is repeating in a collection of in a group of a data in a mark sheet. Suppose 5 students are getting 25 marks. So where I have written 25 number, so that time we make 5 tallies, and here I will write down 5, because that tally is repeating how many times? 5 times. So here I will write down 5. So this entry repeating how many times? 5. So this 5 is known as a frequency of that data. After that, grouping data. Now why we have to study this grouping data? Why? Because these are known as ungrouped data or discrete data. Now see, all observations are different, distinct entry. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So such observations are known as ungrouped. Now here I have given an example. Suppose in a classroom 30 students or 50 students are there. So and the maximum marks are 50. So that time what will happen? For a 30 student, I have to write down 1 to 50 numbers, and then suppose one student getting 1 mark, not a single student getting 2 marks. So that time your table will be too long, because total 50 numbers you have to write down here. In place of this, we can make group of these numbers also. How we can make a group? Now, maximum marks are 50. So, I can fix up like a range 0 to 10. Then 10 to 20. 20 to 30. Now 30 to 40. 40 to 50. Now you may observe, while I have to represent marks of those 30 students out of 50, so that time on my this board, I am not able to occupy this all data. But while I formed a group, so that time I can occupy all 50 numbers easily on my table. So for that reason, we have to do grouping of data. Now, this group is known as class interval. This first value of class is known as lower limit. Lower limit of the class. Suppose I want to find out lower limit of this class, so that is 40. Now, what is an upper limit? So, these values of the class is known as upper limit. Suppose I am talking about this first interval. So, that time what is its upper limit? 10. Suppose I am talking about third interval. So, that time what is its upper limit? That is 30. Now, one more thing. A difference of upper limit and lower limit is known as class size or width of that interval. We can read it as class size or width. Now, class size is equals to upper limit minus lower limit. After that, histogram. Now, while we are grouping this all information, so you may observe, this all range are continuous, 0 to 10. After 10, 20 will come. Here, 20 to 30. I stopped here 30, then 30 to 40. So, here you can observe that no space is there between this interval. So, that time, while I will represent this information on my graph, so what type of graph I will get? X-axis, this is Y-axis. Suppose, if I want to skip some data, so that time I have to put a symbol of king. This jagged line is known as king. Now, see, this first interval, then a next interval, then this, then this. So, here you are getting that continuous rectangles you are getting. Such graphical representation is known as histogram. Hope this basic information understood to you. After that, how to draw a histogram, this is just a new for you. Otherwise, pictograph, bar graph and double bar graph. This all already you have studied in your earlier classes. Now, for 8th standard histogram is new. So, in the next video, I will show you that how to draw a histogram.